Hello, divine creations, divine marvels, children of God. A warm welcome to anyone who's new to this channel. If you are new and you're kind of like, what's going on? What is this all about? Well, here's a little link. I'm posting it in the chat line, and you can find out what's going on and what this is all about. And a warm welcome back to any returning viewers. So, some of you have heard my story that brought me to the teachings of Bruno Gröning. I'm going to give a very short synopsis of it. So, in essence, starting somewhere, I think I had depression and anxiety and PTSD my whole life, but starting 1991 is when it got significant, and over time it got more and more significant. And then addictions, I took up various addictions to cope with the depression. And then that took me on a downward spiral. And from about 1991 to 2009, my life was a mess. I tried so many things. There was one period where I meditated every day, and I meditated at least 4 hours a day, sometimes 5, 6, 7 hours a day, sometimes 10, 12 hours a day. And I received a counseling session every day. And for that period of time, I was well. But other than that, it was like I was an absolute mess, and it took that much meditation and support to keep me functional. So this went on from about 1991 to 2009, when I almost took my life multiple times, like came very close, wrote the goodbye letter. And then I got on psychiatric medication. And it took a couple of months, but psych meds and some other lifestyle changes, I finally stabilized for the first time in my adult life. I was 18 years young when all this started in 1991. So I'd literally been unstable my entire adult life with some health stuff too. But so the psych meds stabilized me, and however, they took quite an impact on my health. And I had some other health things that slowly got worse. And by 2012, my health was falling apart. I did not know if I would live another year or two. I was having troubles with my vision. It looked like I might actually go blind. I was an absolute mess. And, but I was stable. So I was grateful for that. I was emotionally and mentally stable. And then I found out about the teachings of Bruno Gröning. And I was very skeptical, but open. And in a very short time, all of those things healed, including, it ended up I didn't have depression. I had bipolar depression. All the physical things healed. I was able to get off all the medications, which before, if I even decreased a medication a little bit, my mood would start to swing. I was reborn. I was saved, and I was reborn, and I was happy as could be. I got into a very unhealthy relationship, which pulled me away. I allowed it to pull me away from the teachings of Bruno Gröning, and it also activated some of that early childhood trauma, which hadn't healed. And that was in 2013. So I was really active and committed with the work of Bruno Gröning for about 9 months when I got into this new relationship. And then I pulled away from that, and slowly but surely things started to decline again. Mood. First it was addictions, then mood, and then health stuff. So it was so painful. I felt like I'd lost something so precious, not just the relationship, which it was unhealthy. It was good to be, but there was grief with it. But the feeling of having lost my relationship with Bruno, lost the miracles. I was living in miracles and bliss before this bad relationship choice. Illness was a joke to me. It really, I was just radiating energy. I would hug people, and they would have a spiritual experience. Like I was just walking around in bliss. And so the pain of having lost that was the worst part, really. That was really the worst part. And so for the last 7 years, I've been exploring, well, what went wrong? Like, not just a bad relationship choice, but what happened? And what I came to realize is that I was missing a foundation. I was missing a spiritual foundation. Yes, I had experienced so many healings. Yes, I was very devoted to Einstein, but I didn't really understand the fundamentals of what Bruno Gröning taught. And the fundamentals of what Bruno Gröning taught are actually universal to pretty much any and every spiritual path. So I've spent the last 7 years vigorously studying Bruno's teachings, even learning some German. And that's what I realized, is that what allowed me to go off track was not understanding the fundamentals. And so I'm going to be speaking a little bit. This was supposed to be a meditation, but inspiration happened. I try not to plan these meetings because I just try and let them be inspired. And so what are the fundamentals that Bruno Gröning taught? Well, there are multiple ones, but the fundamental, here's a quote from Bruno: "Trust in the good is the foundation, the fundamental idea, the fundamental principle of divine order." And I understand that to mean divine order in our lives, much less on this planet. Trust in the good. It's the foundation. Now, it's written that Jesus spoke about having a foundation that could withstand the waters, that when the floods came, the foundation stands. And I'm pretty convinced that that is faith and trust in God. But don't take my word for it. Let's spend a little time reflecting. What is the foundation? And is Bruno Gröning correct that trust in the good is the foundation of divine order? To anyone who's new, we're going to observe our body with the intention to absorb healing life energy. Thanks for saying hi, everyone. Hi, Nicola. Hi, Forever. Hi, Jisoo. So, without these fundamentals, the teaching of Bruno Gröning is... See, the thing is, Bruno didn't write an instruction book. He just gave talks. And, or if he did write an instruction book, I'm not aware of it. But he did give a lot of talks. And so how to organize and understand his teachings. So I've asked myself, what are the fundamentals? Because Bruno talked about a lot of things, but what are the things he talked about over and over? And what are the things that feel essential? Well, he in his own words gave us very clearly what one of them is, which I just shared, trusting in the good. Now, there's another one that he called us to be very mindful, not afraid, but mindful of this force called evil. He said, never forget, friends, the human being lives right in between good and evil. On one side, the good, on the other side, the evil. Here on this planet Earth, there's a lot of evil. There's a lot of good. But there's a lot of evil. And Bruno Gröning did not mince words. He said, evil will constantly attack the human being. Evil will constantly try and pull you off the good path. Bruno said, and I have to paraphrase here, he said, don't play with evil, meaning don't underestimate it. If we don't take evil seriously, we're underestimating it and we're playing with it. And that's just as safe as juggling razor blades or playing with fire. So let's reflect on that a little. And then alongside that comes our need for recognition that we can't defeat evil on our own. It's a hard one for human beings to swallow. It's a hard one. It was a hard one for me to swallow. But these 7 years have taught me that. I gave it my best, friends. And I wasn't trying to do it completely on my own, but I was still thinking that I was going to solve the problem of evil. through diet, through yoga, time in nature, through relationship, a workshop. All those things are great. I even did some what are called plant medicines, what other people might call psychedelic drugs. I don't think that's an accurate term, but that's an outside issue. Plant medicines, exercise, raw food, all these things can be very positive. I would invite caution with the plant medicines. But none of them are able to remove evil. That was my experience. Don't take my word for it. Reflect and find out for yourself. And this is what Bruno Gröning said. He said, paraphrasing, but he said, people try everything, but nothing has worked to overcome evil. That's a very bad paraphrase, but that's the essence of what he said. So we've looked at a mighty foe, evil, and that we as human beings can't overcome this foe. Let's sit with that second piece for a little bit. We as human beings can't overcome it on our own. That's why I sometimes summarize the teachings of Bruno Gröning as we need God. In the 21st century, it appears we don't need God. We've got technology. We don't, just with a few clicks of a button, we can have food delivered to our house. But not only do we need God, we need nature. But fundamentally, we need God to overcome evil, the root cause of all problems. So everything I've talked about thus far has been about humility. And I sure got humbled these 7 years. Without humility, we're not going to seek God. Without humility, humans feel self-sufficient. Like we don't need God. We don't need a higher power. We think we're adults. Whereas Bruno Gröning pointed out that he said, I am and remain a child of God. I am not ashamed to say so, no. But most people are. In essence, most people are ashamed to say so because they have grown up. But I am and remain a child of God. The path is actually about ultimate humility. Bruno Gröning would say, I am nothing, God is everything. You can't get any more humble than that. And of course, to really dive into that humility, that requires faith and surrender. I think the fundamental human error is thinking we can solve our problems on our own. That we don't need God and don't need nature. But Bruno described it as initially there was unity, and then human beings listened to the voice outside the unity, and then there was a disconnect between God and humanity. And human beings, according to Bruno, aren't able to bridge that gap on their own. So we talked about faith, but today really focused on humility as one of the two things: the awareness of evil and its power, and then humility as just absolute requirements in this game of life. So I wish people good reflection on them, or I hope people will reflect on them. I try and reflect on them every day. And let's ask. We've hopefully filled up with this good energy. Let's ask. Please, God, please, Bruno, please, Christ, for everyone here and everyone who watches this video, for all people and all individuals and organizations engaged in sharing Bruno Gröning's work, for all people engaged in work that's similar. We may not have the same language or exactly the same concepts, but there are a lot of people who are practicing and living these principles, especially of taking in divine energy. Please, please, for all such individuals and groups, for this YouTube channel and all related activities, please, for each person here, We each, in our own way, different words, ministers, servants, we're all part of a team. And not just the Bruno Grüning team, but the God team. We're here to heal ourselves and help others heal. And heal is nothing more and nothing less than release from evil. So please, for each person here in their service, for any specific situations, please ask inwardly. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Thank you for saying hello. And I wish everyone a beautiful, beautiful day. Take care.